Sirens. Hello, Silver Sirens. Welcome to our latest masterclass, Eating for Your Age with Lynda Roach. Over to you, Lynda.
Hi everyone. I have a slightly different way of looking at nutrition. I'm not a classical nutritionist. I'm trained as a nutritionist, but the way I look at it, if you don't understand how your body works, you're unlikely to make the changes needed to get it to work correctly. So I work on the basis that I show you how this amazing machine works. I look at my body like a Formula One racing car. It might be a vintage Formula One racing car, but it's still there. Some people treat their bodies like the old family SUV, a bit dinted and dented, and you don't really have to look after it that much. And others treat it like an old paddock bomb and don't really care for it at all. The things that we decide to do to our body actually have an effect as we age more and more. So you can get away with a lot when you're young, you can get away with a certain amount when you're middle-aged. As you get older, I'm going to explain to you how your body does some pretty dramatic changes, how that impacts your health, and then what we can actually do to counteract that. We don't want to stop aging. Aging is amazing. We want to get old and healthy and vibrant, and faith is a really good example of how to do that. So I'm also not here to tell you what to do. We're all adults. We all know our own minds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the information, and you can then make the choices in your life as to how you want your body to work. As I say, you can be the Formula One race car, you can be the paddock bomb, or you can be the family SUV. I like being the Formula One race car, so I take most of these options on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. Sorry, when the whole internet dropped out just now, it took away my actual PowerPoint. But just bring that back up. Okay. Technology is not my strong point, but talking is, and I'm going to go through an awful lot in this short time. I do talk very quickly, and I'm going to give you a lot of information, but at the end of the day, I'm going to actually summarize it all, so you don't need to take notes. We should be good to go. Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen there? Yeah, okay. There we go, that's better. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to live a healthy, vibrant life over 50. One of the main things that happens is that we start losing estrogen, and that starts probably in your 40s and goes all the way through until you have very little. What we're going to look at is, what does estrogen do? So why do we need it most of our life? What happens when we haven't got it? So the first thing it's cardioprotective. So it helps our heart stay healthy. Women have a much lower heart disease rate than men up until the point we hit menopause. And then it's an equal playing field. We lose our little protective friend, and we're back on the normal sort of scheme of things. Cholesterol actually, estrogen actually controls cholesterol. We need cholesterol. We need it running around our arteries because every cell in your body has cholesterol in it. The wall of your cell is made of cholesterol. So when we say, oh, we want to really lower our cholesterol, you don't want to lower it too much because that's actually keeping you in one piece. What we want is when the cholesterol is being transferred from when you're eating it into digestion and to where it needs to be through the blood vessels, that it flows. It flows nicely and it ends up exactly where it's meant to be. What can happen is if we have inflammation in the arteries, they get a little bit rough. The cholesterol basically gets stuck and it starts forming a plaque. And that's when we start to have problems. So estrogen does two things. It controls the cholesterol to keep it at a good level in the blood vessels, but it also manages inflammation. So we have those lovely smooth vessels, which is why women don't tend to get heart attacks younger. But as I say, we can later on because we lose that. Estrogen actually affects your gut bacteria. So not something generally known, but there was a big study done in Monash, and they found that when they looked at males and females in the younger age bracket, sort of up to 40, they had similar gut bacteria. When they looked at males and females from 50 plus, they found the males still had the same bacteria, the women didn't. They actually had quite significantly different bacteria, and there were whole strains of gut bacteria that were missing, or at least in very low levels, and the lactobacillus ones were some of the main ones, which is probably why we have a little bit of problem digesting lactose as we get older, and it can cause all sorts of gut issues. I'm going to talk about collagen as well, which might be another reason that we have gut bacteria issues as we get older, but I'll discuss that when we get to it. Estrogen has a strong role in brain function. Now, as we're a sort of 50 plus group here, most women are perimenopause or actually in menopause. I don't know about you guys, but I went through quite the ride with my brain function while I was going through perimenopause, and my estrogen was all over the place, and I was struggling to remember names, struggling to actually do simple tasks and keep my focus. And that is one of the things that estrogen does help with, is that real focus and being able to recall things. It can actually almost feel like you're going into dementia when you have it. It really can be that bad. The other thing that estrogen does is that it helps serotonin production. Serotonin is the happy neurotransmitter. It's what we call the sunshine neurotransmitter. You know, the life is wonderful, we're all happy, and it also influences your sleep and wake cycles. And we're also going to talk about cortisol shortly, which works with serotonin to actually balance your sleep and wake cycles. So when you get older and you start going through perimenopause, you start losing the estrogen, or it's in huge quantities or nothing, you actually get really difficult time having sleep. It's exacerbated by the fact that you're probably having hot flashes as well, which is waking you up. But it's not just those. It's actually the fact that estrogen helps control the serotonin, which helps put you to sleep. So it's quite often difficult to get to sleep, especially, and then stay asleep when you're there. Estrogen also supports good communication in the brain, so that all those lovely neural pathways that you've got, and they help you physically move, and you could get quite clumsy when you get older. And it's not necessarily all about the fact that you are just getting older. It can be the fact that your brain is not like flashing those messages quick enough, and you can't react quick enough. So it's not you just getting older. It actually is like it's a biological process that we are going through. One of the other big things with estrogen is bone health. Now, we all think about calcium for bone health. Estrogen is equally as important. So it protects your heart. It also protects your bones. And it does that by helping to hold the minerals in the bones. So when we have osteoporosis, we start to lose minerals. Estrogen helps it stay in, which is why after menopause, or after perimenopause, I should say, you actually start losing bone mass if you're not careful. There are ways around that, and we will discuss that shortly. So it's not all doom and gloom, although it does look like just looking at that. And hey, come on, you can do it. There we go. When we age, our estrogen levels do strange things. So when you've got your monthly cycle, it's on this lovely sort of even curve up and down. Then we get into perimenopause, all bets are off. Anything can happen with your estrogen. It can go sky high, it can drop right the way down, then it can do the little monthly ones, and then it's off again. It's a real roller coaster ride going through perimenopause. So you'll get all of the symptoms of too much estrogen and not enough estrogen. Once we actually get through perimenopause and we're in menopause, menopause, by the way, is when you haven't had any menstruation cycle for 12 months, you are then in menopause. And people say post-menopause. Post-menopause technically is after you're dead, because you're in menopause for the rest of your life. So, yeah. So very low levels at menopause. There's different types of estrogen. Estradiol is the main one, and that's the one that's really strong and creates all of the cycles throughout our years. But there's also one called estrone, And that one is the one that we're left with, and it's quite a weak estrogen. It's just enough to keep us ticking over. The other thing that we lose after menopause, after perimenopause, is progesterone. Now, progesterone and estrogen work with each other throughout our menstrual cycle. Once we finish menstruating, we don't need the progesterone, it drops. Unfortunately, progesterone also has another job, and that job is to oppose cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It's up there with adrenaline, and it ramps us up, and we're really hyper. Progesterone helps balance that. So once we come out of perimenopause, we don't have that progesterone anymore. So our cortisol levels start to go up, and we become anxious. You can go into depression because anxiety and depression do go hand in hand. They're different sides of the same thing. So the cortisol levels are actually starting to rise, and we have to deal with that. So let's have a little look at cortisol. What does it do? It's really important that we have some cortisol because it helps to regulate our metabolism. Now, we all know that once we get older, our metabolisms do slow, and cortisol can actually be a part of that. The other thing it does is it manages inflammation. Now, we already said that, for heart health, low inflammation is good. Also for gut health, low inflammation is good. You do not want an inflamed gut, because you want to be able to digest all the lovely food that we're about to put in there and get all the nutrients. If it's inflamed, it's not going to be doing that. And also you're going to start killing off your bacteria if that's inflamed as well. As I mentioned before, cortisol also regulates your sleep-wake cycle. When cortisol is low, you go to sleep. When it's high, you're awake. So ordinarily, as you go through the day, your cortisol just drops down, 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 and it hits a certain point, and your body goes, oh, we're at the point where we need to sleep. And throughout the night, it starts to rise up until at a certain point in the morning, it'll actually be at its highest point. We wake up and we're like, okay, that's it. We're, don't know why I slept, but I did. It's all good. Works with melatonin, the two, and serotonin. All those work together to keep that lovely cycle. When cortisol is high, we are more awake. So that's why it actually gets harder to have a good night's sleep when we get older. And say we tend to, it's harder to actually get to sleep because we're already running at high. We're not hitting that low that triggers your body to go, oh yeah, I really need to sleep now. Quite often our lives are stressful. We're dealing with all the things that come with the change in body. We're quite often still in work. We've got family, maybe elderly parents. We're already stressed and we're not really sleeping. So this is not putting our body in a good place. The other important role of cortisol is it regulates blood glucose levels. Women, for some reason, are much more prone to type 2 diabetes as we age. Part of it may be because cortisol regulates blood glucose. What it does is, because it's related to stress, it thinks your body is under attack. So cortisol is high, your body goes, oh my God, we're under attack. We need to be able to fight something or run away. And cortisol releases glucose into the bloodstream so that you've got the energy to do that. Of course, there's nothing really happening. It's artificially high just because we've gone through menopause. So what's happening is we've got this constantly high blood glucose, and we're really vigilant, and we're not sleeping. So it's really a bad combination. And if it's not treated, or if we've got a really poor diet on top of that, it can then lead to type 2 diabetes. As I say, it's part of the stress response. So if we've got a stressful lifestyle and we've got this naturally high cortisol level after perimenopause, then we are actually constantly in that stress state. Stress actually does quite a few things. It makes your thinking quite fuzzy, and we've already know that if we've got low estrogen, we're already a bit fuzzy. Now we're adding this into the mix. It can kill off your gut bacteria, and we already know that we do have poor gut bacteria from the previous ones. And also it causes inflammation, and we've already said we get more inflammation when we don't have the estrogen. So it looks like your body's really working against you at this point, when you're in perimenopause and menopause. But there are a lot of things that we can do that actually can help. So we want to make sure that what we're doing counteracts all of these things and helps the body. Now, the last one is collagen. That plays a vital role in the body. Most of us know it through healthy skin. Most of our skin products say, oh yeah, we give you collagen. Yeah, it's good to have healthy skin. We don't want our skin to be unhealthy because that can lead to issues. But one of the major roles of collagen is to literally keep you together. It's in your bones, it's in your muscles, it's in your tendons and your cartilage. So when you start dropping collagen as you get older, all of these things are impacted. And you may find that when you're exercising, as you get older, you get more and more little niggles, you get little strains, and you get cartilage damage, and your knees are now hurting, and all of these little things are working against you. Your bones also, not only from the estrogen, where no longer holding the minerals in, you've now got the fact that you haven't got the collagen in the bones, which holds them together. So we have to be really cautious about how we actually move forward once we get to this stage, and we have to start looking at how we treat our body, because it's literally not held together quite as much as it used to be. It's only a slight change. It's not a dramatic change, but your diet and the way you exercise can really influence how much of an impact this can have on your body. Collagen also helps with blood clotting. And as you might have found out, wound healing. So if you knock yourself when you're younger, you just go, oh yeah, that was annoying. Now you can actually tear your skin more because it hasn't got the collagen. The wound doesn't heal as quick, and the blood sort of keeps flowing. It doesn't stop like it used to when you were younger. If you're on blood thinners as well, then you have that to add on top. Collagen also helps with gut health. As we said, it holds everything together, and your digestive system, the actual intestines, is not like a straight hard tube. It's actually cells layered on top of each other like that, and they've got a tiny gap in between them. That gap is minute, and it will only allow certain things through. If you're really low in collagen, you've got poor diet, and you're not really, backing yourself on this, that can actually start to get loose, and you have what they call leaky gut or intestinal dysbiosis, to give it its correct term. Leaky gut, much easier. And things start crossing that barrier that shouldn't. And that then causes your body to react, things like gluten and, milk proteins, things like that. And you start to get a really reactive body. Your immune system starts fighting them. Then we get into autoimmune disease and all that sort of thing. So not somewhere we want to go. So this sounds a bit doom and gloom. So let's recap what we've got. Our heart's not protected by our little helper, estrogen, anymore. Our brain isn't protected by it. Our brain is a little bit scrambled because we've got the cortisol is really high and we're all stressed. We're not sleeping. We're not producing serotonin as much. Our body itself, our bones, our cartilage, everything to do with it is now a little bit looser than it used to be. And it looks like a really bad scenario. But I will counter that with, there are extreme examples of all of these, and there are very slight examples of all of these. This is potentially what could happen. Some of them are, inevitable. We are going to not have as much estrogen. We definitely will lose some collagen. How much it affects your brain or your sleep or your stress levels is really up to you and your lifestyle. What I am going to ask is if people want to jump in and tell me what is their experience of going through this stage? How has it affected you?
Can I just ask a quick question and then I'll open it up? Just the relationship between cortisone and, so cortisone regulates our metabolism. And I thought one of the things that we experience as we age is that our metabolism slows down.
Yeah.
So I thought that we got more cortisol as we age. Doesn't that then mean our metabolism would be speeding up? So I'm just double checking I understood that.
It is a little bit of a weird one. cortisol actually helps you how you process carbohydrates, how you process proteins, etc. So it's not regulating the speed of the metabolism so much as to how you process those things. It has a big role in processing carbs, especially, and proteins. So I'm going to cover that a little bit later about how you may want to rebalance that, bearing in mind that because it's regulating your blood sugar. So if you're stressed, your body needs to go and get a source of glucose because that's your raw energy. That's your really quick energy. So what your brain will try to do is to get you to eat more carbs because it's go, oh my God, we need instant energy. And then the cortisol will like very quickly turn that round to glucose in your blood. So that's how it regulates your metabolism. Yeah, it's more about how you use each one rather than the speed of your metabolism per se. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So maybe is anyone else has got any want to share about their experience? I can't see everyone on the grid, so just unmute yourself.
No, nobody's talking to me. That's okay. Yeah.
You, Jodie? I know you do quite a bit of work around this area.
No, that's all making perfect sense.
Yeah.
I guess Lynda's asking our experience, so I don't know if anyone wants to share their experience. I've definitely noticed my metabolism has slowed down, and that's
Yeah, and I've noticed particularly it was interesting to hear about cortisol and the stress response and how it comes to the front of the bus and takes over.
Very much so.
So I'm interested to hear how you can get the three to work together.
We can definitely do that. Yes.
Sure.
I can really relate to the sleep stuff. I think that underpins lots of things because it makes it difficult to commit to exercise. It's difficult to meet all of your commitments. It's difficult to eat as well as you want to because you're tired. And every night is a new event at trying to get sleep, and not a lot seems to work. So I can very much relate to that part.
Yeah. So it helps, like you say, when you know why it's happening, and then you think, okay, I can see that's happening with me, then it gives you a bit of an incentive to start making changes, which is why I like to tell people how the biology works. So then you can understand it and go, oh, if I was going to do this, but I'm now going to make a better choice. Yeah. And it'll help me in that area because you can really identify those areas of your life. Like mine was anxiety. My anxiety went off the charts. Yeah. And I was hyper vigilant, like 24 hours a day. And I would go 2 days without sleeping just because of the anxiety levels. And it's now I'm in menopause. It's settled down significantly. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. But the high cortisol can last from 4 to 10 years from perimenopause. So when you start to go into perimenopause, it can last up to 10 years after. Yeah, but it does get better. Yeah.
Could you include some discussion about whether topical estrogen makes any difference to this?
Sorry?
Topical estrogen supplement?
Yes. I'll go in. I've got some sort of things at the end that I'm going to go into, and remind me to bring that up then. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, we've done the doom and gloom. So let's look now. How can we mitigate all of this nastiness that's going on in our body and have a lovely, vibrant older age? So I've got a few examples there of things maybe to do and not to do. But I'm a big believer in balance. I think if you try and be too strict, then you're not going to stick to it. So I'm going to give you some nice handy hints. I'm going to throw a lot of information at you initially, but then I'm going to summarize it. So don't think you've got to take too many notes. Okay. So we can't make our body make more collagen than it wants to, but our body works like a big store cupboard, a pantry. If you haven't got the ingredients in the pantry, you can't make the dish. Same with our body. So what we've got to do is say to our body, okay, at any point that you want to keep making collagen, we're on board, and here's all the ingredients. So we're going to go through the ingredients your body needs so we can make sure that we're constantly having this updated in our body So it's ready when our body wants to make collagen, because there's nothing worse than having a body that's a bit sluggish making collagen, and when it is ready, we're not even giving it what it needs. So the first thing is protein. Collagen is a form of protein, so we need to eat protein. Chicken is a really good source. Don't know why, but your body just translates chicken to collagen way better. And bony fish. And the bones in the fish also give you calcium. So you're giving it collagen and calcium for your bones. So things like your salmon, eat the bones. Your sardines, eat the bones, all those ones. Vitamin C is definitely one of the ingredients we need. Citrus, berries, kiwi fruits, to a lesser degree tomatoes and capsicums, but they do have it in there. And the added bonus with those and the others is that they have antioxidants, which help sort of take all the rubbish away in our bodies and clear everything out so that we can have, lovely strong systems. Strange fact, kiwi fruit has 3 times the vitamin C of an orange. So if you want a quick hit of vitamin C, go with kiwi fruit. And if you're like me, eat the skin as well, because it's awesome. Feels weird the first time you do it, but it is pretty awesome. Proteins are made up of amino acids. Now, 2 big amino acids that specifically are for collagen are lysine and proline. You get these through beans and egg whites. Beans are good because they also come with copper, which I'll cover in a moment, also good for collagen production. Don't just eat the egg whites, please. Eat the yolks, because the yolks have so much goodness in them. They have a thing called choline, which is so good for your body. So please don't just eat egg white omelets. To me, that's an abomination. But yeah, it's the yolks are so tasty. So go the whole thing. They used to be demonized. Now everyone's come out and gone, nope, eggs are really good for you. So we'll follow that. Chlorophyll, the green in plants. That actually is one of the building blocks for collagen. Leafy greens, things like your spinach, your rocket, all of those, your dark green cabbages, your kales, silver beet, all of those are awesome. Broccoli, broccolini, anything that's got a green leaf, go for it. And eat the leaves of things you wouldn't normally, like the cabbage leaves. Cauliflower has got the green leaves. Eat the green leaves as well. Just chop them up, pop them in a pan in the stir fry. They're awesome. So anything that's got a green leaf is really good. And I'll give you some ideas of introducing those into your diet as well towards the end. And as I say, copper and zinc, you only need tiny amounts of these, but it's so important. Zinc pretty much does everything in your body. It's got hundreds of uses. Collagen production is one of them. Oddly, cashews are an excellent source of zinc. So a little handful of cashews, you've got a big dose of zinc. Your the fish as well. So we're already eating fish for your protein. It's also giving you some zinc. So it's like a sort of multi-layered one, that one. So a diet for managing high cortisol. So I'm going to bring all of these up. Here we go. Because cortisol is like putting your foot on the accelerator on your body, what we don't want to do is ramp it up with other stimulants as well. So if you're feeling that you're a little bit ramped with your high cortisol, you haven't had much sleep, you wake up and the first thing you want to do probably is have a nice cup of coffee to get you going. Worst thing you can do. If you think your body is that amazing F1 race car, you're taking it out the garage cold, and you just slam your foot on the accelerator and make it go around the track. Not good for the car, not good for your body. Be gentle with your body first thing in the morning. That's when its cortisol is highest, and if it's already higher than normal because you're now perimenopausal or menopausal, you don't want to be whacking a stimulant in and making your body work even harder. So if you can, leave your coffee till after 10 or at least an hour after you wake up, to give that cortisol chance to drop down before you give it a little kick up the backside again. So instant coffee has less caffeine than beans. Up to you which one you do. If you've had a really rough night's sleep, maybe go the instant. I know it's not ideal, but especially I live in Melbourne, so nobody drinks instant here. We're all coffee snobs. But don't do a double shot espresso first thing in the morning. You really are going to crash and burn. Limit alcohol. Alcohol disrupts your sleep. Cortisol also disrupts your sleep. It's a double whammy. We don't want to be doing that. If you know you're going to have a lie-in the next morning, go for your life. Enjoy it. I've got no issue with people drinking alcohol. Me personally, it doesn't agree with me much. I'll have one glass of wine, feel a little bit queasy, and that's me done. But if you want to drink, then go for it. But just be aware that what it does is it will get you to sleep quite quickly. So it overcomes cortisol in that respect. But you don't get a deep sleep. You don't drop into that REM sleep that is actually refreshing. And you will wake up multiple times in the night. And everyone is the same. I don't care anyone who says that they'll sleep better with alcohol. You are not. You are sleeping, but you're not getting the proper deep sleep. So limit your alcohol. If you're really stressed in life and you've got the high cortisol, maybe knock that right the way back. And I'll discuss which alcohol is best shortly. B vitamins. B vitamins are vital for nerve function. They do all sorts of stuff. All the B vitamins across the board will help you somehow with your nerves. So we want to get, and here you can see that it's actually quite easy to do this because we start doubling up. Leafy greens, proteins, eggs, and oats. So all of these will help with nerve function, but we're also already taking them because we said that they were good for everything else. And they were good for the collagen, etc. So they're already in our list. Blood glucose control. Eat unprocessed foods. My way of looking at this is if I'm looking at a food and I can't tell what the ingredients are, that's a processed food. So say breakfast cereals. I've got Fruit Loops. I've got a pink colored loop and I can't tell what's in it. That's a processed food. I've got a bowl of oats and I've got a handful of nuts, some seeds, some chia seeds, and some dried fruit in. I can see what's in it. That's unprocessed. So that's kind of a really rough guide. Things like the crackers. You have cheese and crackers, glass of red wine. The crackers are processed. They've probably got some trans fat in because they're not using the best fats to make the product. You've got flour. It's all highly processed food. I've got a recipe and I'm happy to share this with Faith and she can send it out for a 5-seed cracker. And it's literally 5 seeds mushed together and baked in the oven. And it is delicious and you can see what you're eating. So you can have unprocessed foods. It's not an issue. I eat unprocessed foods. Like I binged on Tim Tams the other day. And they were awesome. They got me over a little bit of a dip and I'm all good. Your body can handle it, but make most of your food unprocessed. Get fiber, so you're eating your veg and your fruit, not messed around as it comes in nature. Try and eat root vegetables rather than sugary stuff. Root vegetables do have carbs in them. Think your potatoes, your sweet potatoes, pumpkins. Oh, pumpkin's not a root vegetable, but it is a good source of carbs. Parsnips, all those. They're all really good for regulating your blood glucose because they're giving you carbs, but in a way that is quite slow release. So if you're doing your oats and your root veg and processed foods, you've got a really good chance of controlling that blood glucose. Magnesium, when you're stressed, you rip through a tremendous amount of magnesium. If you're really stressed, just take it in supplement form, just whack it straight in. Otherwise, you can have avocados are a good source. Dark chocolate, really good news. We can have chocolate and it's good for you. It's a health food. Bananas, I love bananas. And bananas have potassium as well, which actually helps balance your muscle tone as well. So really good. Dark chocolate, just a side thing. Some dark chocolates do have sugar added. So try and get a proper dark chocolate. You know, splurge on yourself. You deserve it. 75% plus cocoa. It's delicious and really hard to binge eat dark chocolate because it is really rich. Omega-3 fatty acids. These are really good for brain function. We said high cortisol, it's putting us in a stress position. So we're actually not thinking clearly and we've got the estrogen messing with our mind. So if you eat the fatty fish, and again, we're sort of doubling up here because remember we had the fatty fish before that we needed. Chia and flax seeds. Chia seeds are the best. Flax seeds, I love them. And you can just blitz them, pop them on your cereal, anything. Walnuts are a really good source of omega-3s. So a handful of walnuts, chuck them in your cereal, put them in your salads, anything like that. Get that on a daily basis and you're already starting to get your brain focusing better, which is the omega-3, plus it's actually anti-inflammatory. So omega-3 actually reduces inflammation. And we've already said that, you know, our bodies are getting a little bit inflamed because they're constantly stressed, etc. So it's a good way of actually getting rid of that. And I know I said we were only talking about food, but exercise for endorphins. If you're in a stressed state, one of the best things you can do is exercise. Gentle exercise. Don't go hard if you're really stressed. Just do some nice stretching. I do Pilates. I'm actually a Pilates instructor. It's really good because it just gently works you against resistance. Go for a walk around the block. You know, go walk around some trees. Just get some nature around you. It releases endorphins, and endorphins they relieve pain and they give you that feeling of comfort. So it actually genuinely does calm you down, and it helps with the body functioning better. I don't know what's happening with my slides here. They're a little bit weird. Estrogen. You can't make your body produce more estrogen. It's decided that it's not producing it anymore. You're getting the very weak little trickle of estrone. That's the only thing you're getting. What you can do is you can trick your body to think you're getting more estrogen. And that's what phytoestrogens do. All around your body, you've got estrogen receptors. And they're cells that recognize estrogen. And when estrogen touches it, they react as if that's estrogen. Phytoestrogen, phyto means from plants. So these are plants that when you eat them, they go into your system and they touch those estrogen receptors, and your body goes, oh, I've got estrogen. I'm going to go back to the days of when we had heaps of estrogen. And it functions as if you are in a normal estrogen environment. So we can definitely trick the body. And this is where a lot of Japanese females actually have the edge, because a lot of what they eat contains phytoestrogens. So they tend to have a much better time through perimenopause and menopause just because of their cultural diet. So again, flax seeds are back in. Flax seeds and sesame seeds. I've got some good ideas for sesame seeds. I'll share those shortly. Dried fruit, prunes, dates, and apricots especially. They will trick your body to think you've got estrogen. Just be a little bit careful with dried fruit because they quite often are preserved with sulfates, and that can actually have a bad effect on your body. So if you can, either dry your own, just get a dehydrator and just pop them in, or buy organic, which shouldn't have the sulfates in them. So see if you can get sulfate free, but if not, then the benefits of eating this outweigh the possible reactions to the sulfates. Eat fresh fruit, especially peaches and berries. And again, we're back to the berries. Berries were good for our collagen. They were good for the antioxidants. So that's a good double up. Fermented soy products. This is where the Japanese have got the edge on us. You can just eat soy, which is your tofu, etc. If you can eat fermented soy, you're getting a really good double dose, because the fermentation helps to repopulate your gut. And remember, we said as you age, your gut bacteria is not as good as it used to be. Things started dying off. It's not as balanced as it should be. The bad guys are getting the upper hand. Think of that little sort of inner health advert where you've got the good guys on one side and the bad guys on the other. Eating fermented soy products gives the good guys a fair shot. Tempeh, great, so easy to incorporate. Natto, not everyone's cup of tea. It looks a little bit weird. So yeah, if you've never had it, look it up. Yeah, but they're really good things to introduce into your diet, because they're helping trick your body that you still have an estrogen, but they're also helping build your gut back up. Cruciferous vegetables, we kind of already said these were good because they come under leafy greens, but specifically as phytoestrogens. Yeah, broccoli, cabbage, broccolini, all of those sort of things, all of the cruciferous family. They're all going to get your body thinking we're back to normal. Okay, so digestion, I did touch on there. What we need for our digestion, bearing in mind that our collagen now is a little bit low, so maybe the way our body's actually working, it's not pushing food through as efficiently as it used to. Maybe we've got, some issues with the actual, the gut lining as well, because it's not as solid as it used to be. So we want to make sure that what we eat is pushed through the other end quite effectively. So we need fiber, soluble and insoluble. Fiber also keeps your body alkaline. If your body is alkaline, that's its natural state. If you eat a lot of sugars, alcohol, things like that, processed foods, it will tend to go acidic. And an acidic body is an inflamed body. So you'll get like achy joints, and you'll get headaches and all that. You really will feel it if your body is too acidic. You feel ill, just generically sort of ill. So we want to try and move it to alkaline, and fiber is the best way to do it. Fiber is also a prebiotic. So a difference between prebiotic and probiotic. Probiotic, you're actually ingesting the bacteria to populate the gut. Prebiotic is feeding the bacteria in the gut. So you're actually giving it food to keep it healthy. It kind of eats what you eat. It's a bit like a tapeworm. It kind of sits there and just scavenges around, what you can't digest, it will digest. And then it actually gives it back to you in a form that your body can use. So it's so important that we have the bacteria in the right proportions. The nasty bacteria, or the ones that can actually cause us harm, tend to like sugar to eat. The good bacteria that are very beneficial to us and partly digest, it sounds awful. It sounds like the birds where they chew up the food and spit it to the young. That's kind of what the bacteria are doing. They're chewing up the bits of the food that you can't, like cellulose and things like that, and they're giving you a product that you can use. They like fiber.
5 minutes, Lynda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, water to keep everything moving and pushed through. Fermented foods, as we said, they actually feed the bacteria. They help bring bacteria in. So definitely go with those. Greek yogurt, not Greek style yogurt. Definitely important difference. Greek style is just, it looks like it. Greek yogurt is fermented in the pot. Low gluten. The reason we say this is because, as we said, as the gut gets less effective, that can actually cross over into the body, and it can cause issues. Anti-inflammatory foods, we don't want to be all inflamed and achy and feeling awful. So let's bring this down to the basics. What are the common nutrients that we need to introduce? Basically, nuts and seeds. Really good. They're like little powerhouses. Sesame seeds, walnuts, chias, cashews. Sesame seeds, I do a thing where I dip some chicken strips into egg, roll them in sesame seeds and air fry them. They are delicious. Yeah, you can throw them over a salad. Walnuts, the same. Salads for your morning breakfast. Chia seeds on their own with a little bit of yogurt, or you can just throw a spoon into your cereals. Cashews just in your hand and eat them. Fruit and veg, make sure you get a broad range, but especially the root veg, berries, citrus, cruciferous, leafy greens, and avocados. Protein, good quality. If you're eating organ meat, then make sure it's grass-fed. Eggs, eat the whole egg, go for your life, it's good for you. If you're a vegetarian, get a good mix of grains, legumes, and nuts to get the protein in. And take simple actions, like your greens, chuck a handful of greens into your sandwiches. Make sure you've got a small salad at the side of your plate when you're eating. Chop your spinach or your silver beet, whatever, into an omelette or a soup or your mashed potato. Check your alcohol intake. Am I taking alcohol in because I'm just like so stressed and I'm thinking this is going to help? Or am I thinking, oh, I've had a really bad week, I deserve a glass of wine, I'm good. So just check your thinking with that, because there's no nutrition in alcohol. You're doing it purely for you. Maybe go for a mocktail instead. Yeah, see how you feel. Nuts and seeds, crush, put on cereals, salads, anything you want. Use them as a crust on the protein. Increase your protein, decrease carbs. And this was the bit where we said that you need, your body's not really using carbs in the best way. Starve your body a bit of carbs. Don't get rid of them completely. Women don't do well on keto. Just have a little bit of carbs. Look at your plate. If it's 1/3 carbs, 1/3 protein, 1/3 veg, you're on a good one. If it's mostly carbs, start changing that up. If you're time poor, that's no excuse. Roast a big pan of veg, all the different veg. Change up the flavors. So roast it all up. Take one portion, toss it in soy sauce and sesame seeds. Take another portion the next day, put it mixed herbs, cumin. You can really mix and match, but do batch cooking. Don't have temptation in the house. I can't have stuff in the house because I know that my dopamine neurotransmitters just scream and I have to eat them all. Keep the fruit bowl topped up. So if you do need a snack and you go, oh my God, I need to eat something sweet, you've got fruit. red wine and dark chocolate over other alcohol and snacks. They really are the best. You've got resveratrol in red wine, which is heart protective, and dark chocolate just tastes delicious and is overall good for you. Designate yourself a splurge day. You can do it one day of the week and you're all good. No guilt. No matter what you eat on that day, there is no guilt. Your body can handle it. Or if you're having a really bad day, you're really stressed, so many things have happened, go, okay, today's the splurge day. Listen to your body. Just because you could always do it doesn't mean that you can do it now. So allow for the changes, but don't stop doing things. Keep doing things, keep being engaged, keep being active, but allow for the changes in your body. Be kind to yourself and take time out for you. That's a really important one. I'm quickly going to go through habit stacking, just really quickly. Habit stacking I've found out from a book, Atomic Habits. It's awesome. Basically what you do is you pick something you want to do. So let's say I'm going to introduce leafy greens in at least one meal every day for 2 weeks. Find out what your trigger is. The trigger is I'm going to do it at tea every day. My tea time is when I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to physically grab it out the fridge and put it in. I'm going to swap out something nasty on the plate for it. Repeat it every single day, and then check in at the end of that 2 weeks and see if you did it. When you've got it and you know you've nailed it, add another one. If you try and do everything at the same time, you will not do it. You'll get overwhelmed. So pick one thing, do it for 2 weeks, add another. Your body, as I say, is either going to be the race car, it's going to be the family SUV, or it's going to be the paddock bomb. Every decision you make about what you put in your mouth and what you do with your life will affect your body. Now you know how it works, you can make that decision. Are you okay to make a red arrow decision, taking you away from your goals? Or is today a day you really need to go back to the green arrow decisions? Neither is good or bad. They all have their place. But think about your overall body, what it's going through, what it needs from you. Make sure it has that first, and then tack on the red arrow stuff. So that's me done. So hopefully that was informative.
Thank you. Yeah, you got through a lot so quickly. So thank you so much for that. I love the splurge day. I think it's really good for us not to, beat ourselves up all the time. That's great. And I love the photoestrogens. I like the idea of tricking my body to believe it's creating estrogen. So I've written some of those down. I'm going to go and get some of those. That's great. Okay, let's open it up. So any questions? So we've got about 9 minutes. If anyone needs to leave dead on time, please do so. We're probably going to go a few minutes over, but Lynda, let me know how, where you're at if you need to leave dead on time. Okay, so anyone got any questions they want to ask? Yeah, go, Dahlia.
Well, thank you so much for such a concise and, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful summary of life, of everything. And so what I want to say is, all my life I lived by this because, because I'm a performer, singer, and I needed always to look after my voice. I've done, I've completely, I didn't, everything was gluten-free. That everything I had ever is gluten-free because I didn't want mucus in my throat, and no alcohol, no cigarettes, not even coffee.
Wow.
I've been living like a saint. And I've managed, from my age, to have a perfect eyesight, perfect hearing, and I have all my teeth in my mouth. So I've managed to do all that. But I find now that I'm getting, because, I've deprived myself of certain foods that, like dairy, because dairy creates a lot of mucus. I stopped eating dairy completely, and that's created a bit of an osteoporosis syndrome in my body, and now I'm paying for it. Now I have to really, and also, and also, like even because of acid, I've deprived myself of, a lot of essential like all the acid, the
osteoporosis is
acidic fruit and tomatoes, etc.
Yeah.
So how do I replenish it now? How do you feel I should? Because I've managed to stay really strong with it, but now it's
I would say probably get a bit more balance. That find a source of dairy that is not going to create the mucus. The mucus generally is because your body's reacting to the lactose, which is the sugar in the milk. The more processed dairy, this is the only time I'm going to recommend processed food. The more processed dairy is, the less lactose there is. So your hard cheeses and things like that have very little lactose. It wouldn't really affect you. So try going for those because in the process of it becoming cheese, it's using the sugar up in the milk. So the actual end product, things like your really processed yogurts and things, the more processed it is, the less lactose there is. So maybe go the hard cheeses and even supplement. I mean, there are some good supplements. If you've reached the point where you actually have that condition, I would say supplement. Make sure that any supplement has vitamin D and vitamin K in it as well, because they help to harvest calcium and keep it in the bones. So don't just go straight calcium. That's too much calcium and it can end up in your arteries. It has to have the D and the K to make sure that when it goes in, it goes to the right place. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend for you supplements at this point and live a little, just try a few things. Yeah, start introducing some of the stuff that you didn't have before and see how your body's going with it. Yeah, you've done well.
I've been depriving myself of all the what they call the deadly, like capsicum, tomatoes, anything that acid, because the acid, it was not good for my, I found that, yeah.
Let's see, try reintroducing them and see if it works. Yeah, just cook them down, cook the tomatoes and the capsicums down, because they are in the nightshade family. So yeah, they can react with some people, but yeah, cook them down, get rid of most of the acid and then go for it. Yeah, but yeah, play with the food, play with your food.
I've been doing it all my life. Thank you so much.
Get a couple more. So who would like to ask Lynda a question?
There was one about topical estrogen, wasn't there?
Yes, coming back to that one.
Yeah. Basically, phytoestrogens are your best bet because they're natural. If you have to go on HRT, then, if life is unbearable, HRT is a good option. It shouldn't be a first option. If you have skin, I've used topical estrogen, and it actually did work really well for my specific condition. I was finding that my skin was breaking a lot, and the topical estrogen actually helped with that. Yeah, should really be a collagen issue, but yeah, it actually did help. So all of these things can help. Try going the natural route first. So try really ramping up those phytoestrogens, trick your body. If that doesn't kick in, then sort of keep trying the new things. At the end of the day, the most important thing is you've got quality of life. If you've got something that's so debilitating and not allowing you to live your life to the full, go to the next level. There's nothing wrong with medications, so long as they're used correctly. So yeah, absolutely, work your way through from natural through to the heavier results, and then try and wean yourself off them, if you can at a later date. But if it gets you through the day, go for it. Yeah.
Great. So who's that, Anna? My skin's become loose and saggy. Okay, did you want to ask your question, Anna, about loose skin?
Yeah,
I just wanted to ask about loose skin. Like my skin's become really loose, but it's also become really, really wiry, and yeah, I just wanted to ask about that.
Yeah, have a look at all of your diet and see, what are you actually doing. Do a week of a complete diet diary. So what you're having for breakfast, what you're drinking, any snacks, everything. So get a really good idea of everything you're putting in your body for a whole week. Don't change anything, because we do try and psychologically try and eat better when we have to write it down. Do exactly as you're doing now. And I've had clients who miraculously have the best diet ever when I ask them for a diet diary. Yeah, and I know that's definitely not true. So write it all down, see where you can make adjustments. And I'm happy to share some of these slides with Faith so she can send them out. Make adjustments where you're getting enough fluids in and the correct sort of fluids. You're not dehydrating your body with sugary things, because sugar does dehydrate. That you're getting everything your body needs for collagen. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be brutally honest, does it matter? If it's a medical thing and it's creating a problem, if you're just getting saggy with old age, hey, welcome to the club. Look at my neck. It's like that saggy as anything. I never used to look like that. Sometimes we just have to love it. And just, as I say, understanding the fact that, hey, we haven't got the collagen now that we used to. This is what I look like. I'm going to love it. Other people will love it. And I've kind of had to do that because I do have like a jowly face anyway. And I've noticed as I'm aging, everything is kind of just drooping. And yeah, my hands, because I'm in the garden a lot, my hands are looking quite old. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just about to turn 60. I am in that age group. There's nothing wrong with being a bit saggy. So yeah, love it. If it's not causing you an issue, if it is, look at your diet and see what do you need to improve and what do you need to add. Yeah.
Would pushing up the collagen help that, do you think?
Definitely, yes. You can supplement collagen. That comes with a little bit of a warning that some people react badly to it, and it does push them into an anxiety state.
Okay.
So you absolutely can supplement. Be very careful with dosage. Start really slow and see how your body reacts, because you may already have that high cortisol and you don't want to be pushing it in and ramping that right up. Yeah, so if it really bothers you, try that. But yeah, try all the natural routes first, amend your diet, get yourself hydrated, but just love your skin. Yeah.
Lynda, are you okay for one more?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so we would like to, Egan, Vasila, Colleen, any of you want to add? No, you're looking good. Yeah, everyone's happy. Okay, wonderful. Well, let's wrap up then. So I'm just going to close the off. So thank you for all those who joined us live and those who are watching the recording. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for for being here. So we're going to share some resources of Lynda. So please, Lynda, send that to me and I'll share it with everybody to go with the recording, which we'll be sending out very soon. Thank you.